Surprise! So last week, first welcome. Welcome back to our show at Gringo Más Mexicano. I'm here with my guest, Tony Plak, a local artist, and Aissa Huerta, the executive director at La Línea studio, among other things. I mean, that's one of the hats that you wear, the many hats. So the surprise is that we actually have a show today. Last week at the end of the show, I announced that there would be no show this week. Because I was supposed to get knee surgery, but it was canceled at the night before the surgery. The surgeon called me and said, "Hey, you know what? Maybe not." And it was actually ended up being a good thing. One, because you guys are here. We're here doing the show. And two, because I was able to make it out to Tony Plak's exhibition opening at La Línea, which was great. It was an incredible night. Great night, great people, great music. That was actually my first time hearing Los Velvets live. And they were pretty good. They were not pretty good. They were really good. Saw people I hadn't seen in a long time. And it's just good to be out with people, right? And see good art, support Tony with his incredible artwork. Pues ese búfalo, ¿no? Ese búfalo es lo que me encantó mucho, ¿no? Me encantó.
Siempre.
Sí. ¿Cuántos miles cuesta?
Ahora no llega al 1000.
Bueno. So we do have a show. And I'm so glad that we do, because we're able to talk to you about your exhibition and you about La Línea and some summer programs that are coming up. So welcome. And
Gracias.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you guys are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, share it. Give it a like, share it. Make sure that you follow the page, like the page. And, we share a lot of good community stuff, including upcoming community events. So sharing this podcast, this show on whatever platform you're watching or listening on helps us and it helps the community. So make sure that you do. And so moving on. Let's go into events. Let's jump right into it. I will admit that because this was a last minute episode, I'm not nearly as prepared as I usually am. So I apologize. But so events coming up. First is at the Whitner Museum, which is literally just down the stairs from here. And that's this Saturday. What is it? Duo, how do you say it? Chucks? Chooks? It's going to be a concert at Whitner Museum. It's an ensemble committed to the repertoire of voice and piano. And Amanda Zori is going to be on voice, and Walter Aparicio is going to be on the piano, and that starts at 7 p.m. right at the Whitner Museum, 204 North Morley Avenue. Doors open at 6:30. Also, the Sunflower Festival next Saturday. It's actually, we talked about it at the last show, but it's going to be this incredible event at the M&M Family Orchard, which I interviewed. They were my guests last week, so we got to talk to them. There's also going to be tarot magic and candles there, and magic candles there. I'm going to be there with some of my books. Kevin Jung is going to be there singing, rapping, incredible local musician. And so many vendors, music, food, art, all kinds of cool stuff. Are you guys going to go? Yes? Wow. Perfect. And that is going to be at 310 Camino Caballo in Rio Rico, Arizona. And that starts at 6 p.m. on Saturday, June 24th. Ooh, back to this week, jumping backwards again. Like I said, I'm not as organized this one. Not nearly as organized. On Friday, June 16th in Tubac, right at the La Entrada de Tubac from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. is Art and Music in Motion. And there's going to be music, there's going to be wine, there's going to be food. Another little festival. We have a lot of... Sí, mucho pues el verano, pues. Siempre cuando empieza el verano, there's all kinds of, the activities all of a sudden start. Which is good because you keep busy, I guess. But it's so hot sometimes.
Por eso empiezan tarde.
Exactly, ¿verdad? Ya que está bajando el sol. The last one that I want to mention doesn't actually start till July, but it's probably the most important local event that's going to happen. And that is the Art of Storytelling Summer Workshop that I will be putting on. Registration is through the Santa Cruz County School Superintendent Alfredo Velasquez, and it's for grades 3rd through 5th. July 10th through 20th And it's going to be a Monday through Thursday thing. And have you guys seen anything about this? Yes, so you know all about it, right? I know you know all about it. Tony, ¿has visto lo que? Okay, so it's going to be any chance I get to talk about it. It's just going to be this really, really cool storytelling workshop. It's basically getting kids to learn a love of storytelling, que se enamoran con el arte de storytelling. And I'm really, really excited about it. From what I understand, it's almost filled up. There's still a few spaces left, so make sure that you jump on them. All right, so moving on to news. First and foremost, longtime managing editor at the Nogales International, Jonathan Clark, has retired. Now, when I first got into journalism, he was the first editor that I ever went to. And it was, I walked into his office, this young kid, didn't know anything about anything, right? I just decided to make a career change to do journalism because writing was something that was always a part of me. And even though my writing was subpar at the time for sure, he welcomed me, he gave me great productive notes and helped me along. So I want to thank Jonathan and congratulate him on finally taking a break, for taking a rest. Another congratulation goes out to Genesis Lara, who is the new managing editor. So Genesis used to be a reporter here at Nogales International. She went to Tucson, and then she came back and took this position. So congratulations to her. And the final piece of news is, it's Pride Month. It's Pride Month. Great month, celebration of love in general, of people being people, of LGBTQ celebration. It's such an incredible, I'm trying to find the right words to really express what it means. It's for people who have struggled so much, who've been marginalized and treated so poorly throughout history. This month is more than just a celebration. It's a commemoration. It's, so it's Pride Month. And in Nogales, Sonora, they just had their big march on Saturday. This is like almost 20 years that they've been doing this. And it's been organized by Christian Vega and Alberto Arias for almost all 20 years. And the festivities have become famous. People from all over the world come for the Nogales, Sonora Pride celebration. And it's still Pride Month. So even though that was last week, you can still celebrate. All right, jumping into the interview. You guys ready?
Claro, siempre.
Okay, so Tony, empezando contigo, ¿no?
Claro.
Ya, pues abrió tu exposición, ¿no?
Sí.
Y pues hay un tema, ¿no? Let's talk about the theme, ¿no? Hay un tema en tu exhibición. ¿De dónde vino este
tema.
Este tema?
Sí, pues la exhibición se llama Sonora Vibrante y pues tiene que ver, como puedes ver ahí, están las fotos, esas se llaman cuerpos vibrantes, parte de la obra, es como por medio de lo que yo veo aquí en lo que es el desierto de Sonora, que pues está entre Sonora y Arizona, ¿no? De esa manera, pues, cómo yo puedo reinterpretar lo que veo de la naturaleza, pero no más con los simples colores como tierra o todo muy, muy cálido, sino al contrario, como sacar los colores vibrantes que hay en el desierto, y por eso fue de Sonora Vibrante, pues, y pues es pintar lo que me encanta, que es la fauna, la flora que encontramos aquí endémicamente. Y pues ese fue como el tema principal, cómo llevar lo que casi siempre pinto en murales, pero llevarlo a un formato pues mucho más chico, ¿no? Que fue un reto para mí, pues casi no hago cuadros, pues, y pues fue como, sí fue un trabajo exhaustivo, se puede decir, y algo cansado, pero pues bien orgulloso de poderlo ver expuesto, ajá, y que la gente pueda ir a un lugar y en lugar de ver un solo mural, pues puede ver, pues para mí, varios murales en chiquito, pues en 20 obras que expuse en la línea.
Y es básicamente eso lo que es, son murales, ¿no? Separados.
Sí.
Y pues ya estás famoso por muralista, ¿no?
Ajá.
¿Cómo ese es tu primer solo show?
Sí.
¿Cómo se siente? Pues orgulloso dices,
Orgulloso,
¿no?
sí.
Pero me imagino que es un sueño que has tenido, me imagino, ¿no?
Sí.
Sí.
De hecho, ¿te acuerdas cuando les comenté desde el año pasado de que nunca he tenido un solo show, una exhibición propia, donde pues la gente vaya, porque ya había tenido en colaboración pues
Ajá.
con otras exposiciones, con otros artistas, que igual está bien suave porque la gente pues va a ver
Sí.
diferentes tipos de artes, pero pues nunca había tenido como que la gente fuera a ver lo que yo hago, pues, y sí estaba nervioso igual, pero estaba muy emocionado también, que era lo que también me alentaba de decir, pues, o sea, vamos a que la gente vea que también puedo hacer canvas, que puedo pintar sobre formato más chico, y pues al ver que sí fue mucha gente, que sí existió que tuvo mucha convocatoria, pues sí estuve muy feliz de ver igual hasta caras nuevas o gente que me sigue desde Instagram, que fueron y que, oye, yo te sigo de hace mucho por tus murales, pero pues poder venir y ver. De hecho, un compañero, un colega que también pinta me dijo que sabe que a veces la gente, o como él me dijo, yo conocí primero yo creo tu obra, porque tú haces pues arte público, me dijo, y me imagino que como yo, dijo, primero conocemos tu obra, sea por murales, y poder venir a una exhibición y conocerte ya como artista, pues es como que algo padre, pues, y yo no lo había visto pues de esa manera, pues, pero se siente suave.
Me imagino, no me imagino. Todos esos cuadros los hiciste para la exhibición esto o ya tienes años haciéndolos.
Tenía uno, el más viejo creo que tenía como 3 años
Tres
más o
años.
menos,
Ah, ok.
como 2 o 3 cuadros, pero sí, pues, como por ejemplo que puedo ver en la foto, pues
Ajá.
eso es imprimí unas fotografías de una colaboración que realicé con unos fotógrafos y con las modelos, y fue como en tiempos de pandemia, y
Ah,
no
ok.
lo pude o sea, nomás fue como subirlo a Instagram y las redes sociales, pero que la gente lo pudiera ver en físico. Era algo que yo también quería hacer. Y pues aproveché la oportunidad y va sobre el tema que estoy tratando. Y pues, o sea, pues fue como que, ok, es
Ajá.
nuevo porque igual mucha gente no lo había visto.
Pues yo he visto mucho de tu arte y esos
Sí.
nunca los había
Ajá.
visto.
Y eso también fue como un reto, pues porque fue pintar
Ajá.
sobre personas, igual tener unas muy buenas fotografías. Y al igual, aparte de eso, pues sí hice muchísima obra. Sí, cuando me preguntaba la Isa o me preguntaban de la línea, Tony, ¿cómo vas? Y yo, voy. No les podía decir como que voy muy bien, o yo no me sentía tan de que ya estaba listo, Garo, ustedes todos me preguntan, ¿qué, Tony, cómo vas? Y yo, voy.
Sí.
Pero pues era porque, no sé, porque como era mi primer show, igual a lo mejor yo no me sentía como listo o
Ajá.
preparado, pero pues a final de cuentas, como artista tú vas a ver un cuadro y vas a decir, no, le faltó esto o le faltó el otro, pero
Siempre,
creo que
siempre
es
va a
algo
ser.
ya personal de cada artista, ¿no? Pero pues
Siempre
sí,
va a
preparé
pasar eso.
mucha obra nueva y pues también igual hasta siento que experimenté en maneras nuevas pintando en los canvas, en los cuadros.
De todos, cuál es tu favorito?
Qué curado, porque creo que ese le gustó mucho a la gente.
Ah, pero a ti.
A mí me sigue gustando el díptico, el que es la churea,
Ah, sí, 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 sí,
que es
eso
del,
está.
del mural que está acá
Sí, eso
el
me encanta
arroyo,
también.
arroyo se llama la calle esta. ¿Dónde
Sí,
está? El que está atrás de Chiquitas Bar. Ese para mí es mi cuadro favorito.
ok.
Pero parece que a la gente le gustó mucho ese.
Sí, pues a mí, pues ya sabes, ¿no? El búfalo me encantó, no
Sí.
sé, como que este cuadro me atrae mucho. Pero aparte de tu exhibición, también acabas de pintar el mural atrás de la Cinderella, ¿no?
Sí.
Con la señora Corey.
Sí, con Sandra ahí hicimos un mural nuevo. De hecho, pintar ese mural, que pues lo hicimos con pintura acrílica, pues me ayudó mucho también porque fue como que estaba trabajando en la exhibición, y luego estuvo el inter de hacer ese mural y me ayudó mucho con skills para
Ah, pues,
seguir pintando con pincel, pues. Y pues de hecho uno de los cuadros lo hice despuesito de hacer el mural ese
oh, wow.
que fue como, sí fue cansado mental y físicamente por el clima, por todo, pero ver que ya tengo un mural en la Cinderella, que es un negocio y es un edificio que tiene pues, muchísimos años, digo, ok, pues ya va a ser. Porque yo siento que la Cinderella es como un patrimonio hasta de ambos Nogales, ¿no? Porque
Sí.
es algo icónico. Y decir, tengo un mural ahí, pues es algo.
Pues necesitamos que aclaras algo ya. Mucha gente me han preguntado, ¿es la Frida Kahlo?
Sí.
Necesito que digas ahorita a la gente de Nogales, ¿Quién es?
No, pues es la abuelita de Levan.
Así es la
Taita.
abuelita.
¿Cómo?
Evelia.
Evelia. Es
Abelia Corey, sí,
Ajá,
que,
es
que
ella.
es the matriarch, ¿no? De la
Sí,
familia.
de la familia.
De
La
toda la
mera
familia.
patrona.
Sí, ¿verdad? Bueno, ya saben, ¿no? No es la Frida Kahlo.
Sí, no, sí, no, pues aparte de ser un mural, pues es también algo, pues es que ella es parte de la historia, pues
De Nogales.
De Nogales,
De esta calle, pues.
de esta
de
calle,
esta
del
calle.
downtown, de todo, y pues
Yeah.
es también, es como en honor a ella, es en honor a ella también, y pues aquí en el primer cuadro de la ciudad.
Bien merecido, ¿no?
Ajá, así es.
Y también tienes pues tu estudio, que pues está en un lugar ahorita, pero
Ajá.
estás haciendo cambios ahorita.
Ajá, sí, ahí se viene mi estudio, lo que llegué a tener en Nogales, Sonora, que es pues Churé Estudio,
Ajá.
pues acá lo andamos armando ya aquí en Nogales, Arizona,
Muy
que pues
bien.
igual trabajé para, pues ya fue como que de la primera vez bien que trabajé mis obras en mi estudio, ahorita pues andamos moviéndonos, pero sí aquí sobre la Morley Avenue también, y pues quién puede decir, ¿no? También que, tengo mi estudio sobre la Morley Avenue, que yo creo que cuando estás chico, pues dices, qué suave tener un estudio en Downtown Nogales, ¿no?
Ajá.
Pues ya es como un sueño hecho realidad, a fin de cuentas.
Bueno, tú you are solidifying yourself as an icon of the Morley Art District, ¿verdad? So, hablando del Morley Art District, moving on to Aissa. All right, so the executive director of La Línea, right? You started the nonprofit. You've got the studio open for how long has it been now?
Since November 2019.
2019. So we're coming up on 4 years now, right? And it's turned into a whole movement. Like it started with the studio, and it's turned into a whole movement. There's it's the Morley Arts District now. So, how did this happen? Let's hear it from your words. How
From
did
the
this happen?
very beginning.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning of time.
The beginning of time. I actually didn't know Evan Corey at the
Okay.
time. And the partner that I had was looking to exhibit an art piece in conversation with the concertina wire that just appeared overnight, seemingly. As you know, Evan owns, and his family owns Corey's and Cinderella, which were not the best places for the political messages we were hoping to share, which is completely understandable.
Yeah.
But I did meet Evan again through that situation.
Okay.
And then we were presented with a really unique opportunity with the space that we have right now. Was formerly owned by Niels Erman of
Yeah, it
Nogales.
was conspiracies. I bought my
Community
skateboards there in high school. That's where I bought my skateboards.
We just painted over it had like a stenciled conspiracy logo in the bathroom.
Really?
And we recently painted it over.
Wow. You shouldn't have. It's all right. It's all right.
homage
I'll
to-
forgive you
to
guys. I'll
Niels.
forgive you guys.
Well, Niels actually we wanted to talk about renting the window, but the building had sat vacant for 8 years and just wasn't doing anything. The downtown area was already in a slow decline. And the concertina wire didn't help because it came along with closures and the minimizing of the lanes open in the port and the walking sections and everything.
Plus just the imagery and of course.
It was not a good sensation. But he ended up allowing us to essentially rent the space for what we would have paid for a window.
Wow.
Which was revolutionary because then we had so many artists in the community come together to want to be a part of this. Like our board now is made up of a lot of amazing individuals. I'm sure you've had most of them on the show, actually.
I had a lot of them. Yeah.
And we were able to kind of renovate the space that had been vacant and put a use to it. And we really wanted there to be somewhere along the line of Morley where these people were coming from out of town to just kind of gawk at the horrible, ugly concertina wire and the war-looking zone that was created after. We wanted them to be able to have somewhere to stop and take a second and receive narratives from the community to see a different perspective than Narcos or whatever they might have seen or heard about this area online. And so that was kind of the start of La Línea, and the more we did, the more artists were volunteering, the more shows we were able to have, the more interest. And then we kind of got ourselves in a sticky situation with the pandemic.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be opening Paula Whitner's exhibition that was in collaboration with the Museo de Arte Nogales. So they had their opening, and the week later when we were supposed to have ours was the same week that the state shut down.
That everything closed. So
Everything
spring break March. Yeah. Wow.
So then we had that exhibition on hold for 13 months. before restrictions were such that we could gather to at least have people to view it. But fortunately, once that did happen, like it was like no time had been lost. Nobody skipped a beat. We went right back into hosting programming and open studio night and giving artists local, international opportunities to gather, to meet, to share ideas. And it's been a wild ride, but I think everyone's super excited to see how far we've come. And then with the ARPA money, which is a really unique opportunity, I think, for a lot of nonprofits here in this area that may not get targeted for funding that same way, collaborated under the understanding we're all working towards the same common goal in some way or another. And by creating this concept of the Morley Arts District, of focusing our intentions here on economic development and creative placemaking and making sure that there's quality of life events for our community members. There's no reason people who live here should have to travel to Tucson or Tubac or across the line to have a good night, to see some art, have some time with family and friends. And it's been coming together. And I think now that all these organizations have an in with each other, that great things are happening, and with the community support and the city support and the county support, I think that we can create something really unique in this area that we can be proud to show people, to share, to invite.
Very, very cool. That's so cool. So I love going to La Línea. I never, for whatever reason, I never got a chance to see David's exhibition, but I know it was incredible.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I know it was incredible. But I love going to La Línea. I love what's happening to the Morley Art District. We've got the Whitner Museum, we've got his studio, we've got La Línea, and I consider us part of this.
Yes, we're all one right now.
Yes. But all of that, like, that's your passion project, right? But it's not the only hat you wear. No, you also work with Alfredo Velasquez's office, and there's La Línea, of course, has its summer programs going up, but that's not the only summer programs that you've got that you're working on. So let's talk about summer programs real quick. I mean, obviously the most important is the art of storytelling, of course.
Everybody register for the art of storytelling.
Thank you for saying it. Appreciate that. But there's also, I mean, that's not the only one. There are other ones. I mean, and there are kids that are older that can't fit in the mine, whatever. I guess they need summer programs too. But let's start with La Línea summer programs, right?
So La Línea offers a summer program in collaboration with the Border Youth Tennis Exchange, and they have.
I love Bite.
Bite is awesome.
Yeah, Bite is so cool.
They help us have a fall session, a spring session, and a summer session. So the summer session is a little bit shorter. It's already started, but if you're super excited about art and want to participate, I'm sure they can find some space. Okay. Cool. And it's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 5:30.
Great. Okay,
and the focus of this one has a little bit of cartooning. They're focusing on art in the park too. We've been working with the city of Nogales to create art installations. The kids learn their skills throughout the program, and then their kind of final exhibition is creating something that we can either share publicly or in directly one of the parks.
Very cool.
Which is really awesome. That's there at La Línea. Then I think the superintendent's office has about 33 summer camps.
Yeah, it's a big one this year. So you don't need to go. We don't need to go line by line.
We won't go through the list. I'll focus on some art ones that I'm super excited about. Okay. So we have the art of storytelling. Everybody note that one.
Oh yeah, that's true. The art of storytelling. I forgot about it.
Then we also have one that will be led by Mr. McIlrath. I believe he's the art teacher at Calabasas. Okay. Which we're calling International Street Revitalization. So I don't know if you've seen that sign that's on International Street that has these little metal panels and they spell out International Street. This was, I think, one of either the Neighbor Works or Nogales Community Development projects that Niels stood behind probably in the 90s at some point when
Wow.
when the retail business here was super, super strong. And every letter of international is paired with an image that was one of the wares from one of the retail businesses at the time. It's a really cool art
That's
piece,
such a cool
but
project.
and it's directly across from the wall in the fancy concertina wire.
Fancy concertina.
And it's been sitting in the sun for a lot of years. It's suffered a little bit. So the international street revitalization will require them taking them down and working with Mr. Rick Roath to restore them, and then they'll put them back up. And as part of that, they'll also create some sort of work that helps capture their vision of the future for this community, for themselves, for the arts district. So I think it'll be a really cool opportunity for us to see things through the youth's eyes.
That's so cool. Very, very cool. All right, what other art ones do we have?
All right, so we have paper making with
So-
Nanette Miranda.
Okay, so what does this mean? Are they actually making paper?
It's the entire process, like from pulp, like
Wow.
corn husks and don't ask me the process. I'm not the expert, but Nanette gathers all of these organic materials and puts them in water, and they dehydrate, and she blends them, and they create a pulp, and then they use screens to sift out the pulp and remove the water, and it creates a paper product. And then they use those paper products or the pulp to create invitations, hats, lampshades,
Wow.
masks, all kinds of really fun stuff.
That's so cool. And Nanette Miranda is another incredible artist, a good friend of mine. Just a cool person, you know? She's so fun.
It's going to be a great,
Yeah.
great experience.
That is going to be awesome.
And then what else do we have? We have digital photography with Pat Mendez of Pearson High School, which will be a really fun thing. If you haven't signed up and you're interested in photography, please seek out that opportunity, because these students will be using the skills that they acquired to capture some images of the downtown and the other summer camp participants, which I think will be a really cool visual. Same thing, just to see the community and everything that's happening through somebody else's eyes, one of our youths too. And then our last super exciting initiative is the Murals on Morley Camp. So if we've seen the one right here behind Circle K, that was the first year. Last year I worked with a group of students on that long wall behind the courthouse. And now Mr. Grijalva from Rio Rico High School is going to lead a group of high school students through the same process again. Well, they'll actually get to paint a mural as part of
That's awesome.
that. And we had some student participants that worked with Tony on the first year and then returned the second year, that are now in a position to lead their own mural camp, where they'll design the mural and get a group of their friends and other students to cooperate with them to do the whole process, leading it, which will be really exciting.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Que sigan el proceso, ¿no?
Así es, sí.
Que no lo dejen de lado.
So one of the coolest things about my job, and since I've been doing journalism, the last 12 or so years that I've been doing journalism, is to see how many incredible artists we actually have here. Like, there are so many. Like, growing up, it was like Tubac. Tubac's the art community. Patagonia, also. But the entire county is just full of so much beautiful talent. It's so cool, and I'm glad that La Línea and is working to bring that out, to demonstrate that, and in a way that is really meaningful to me, which you just mentioned, was showing this positive, beautiful side of border communities. When we've got literally just down the street is this hideous wall with fancy concertina wire, and such a negative image of what border communities are. And I think that using art to show its beauty is so great.
Más que eso.
Yeah. Also, I am an artist. I just did a self-portrait. There's a reel of it. I'm not going to show the reel here because I want to drive traffic to my Instagram page. But I want you to go. I don't know if you guys saw this reel yet. No? Okay. You guys have to go to see it too and see my self-portrait. It is the most beautiful, incredible likeness of a person that you've ever seen. I might actually have, so you guys can see really quick.
What medium did you use?
I used a pen and paper.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's truly a transcendent piece of art.
I'm very
You are going to
excited.
love this. Just watch my process, okay? So maybe I will give it to Edgardo so he can run it while we're doing this.
Joe Wright writes. That's
Joe
your
Wright
handle.
writes. Joe Wright writes on Instagram to see the reel.
You look a little bit like Jack.
Mira nomás.
Isn't such a...
La colita,
Mira.
la barba. Ah, la panza.
La panza, pues, with the realism right there.
Done. Perfection.
Yep.
Igualito.
Igualito, ¿verdad? Igualito. So to see this beautiful work of art, go to Joe Wright Writes on Instagram or Joseph Paul Wright on Facebook, and it is in the reels. Wasn't it like incredible, like transcending?
We got to talk to the Coreys about getting that image up
Right?
next to the other portrait, so
Exactly.
so we
Tanto
know.
detalle, man van, la barba.
Everything, ¿verdad? Like perfecto. I mean, every strand of hair.
The curl pattern, you got it.
Yes, exactly. Now, so thank you guys for coming and talking about your projects, about the work that you guys do, and then this beautiful artistic community that we have here, and that Morley Avenue is really becoming the hub for the home, the safe haven, if you will. And all of that is very, very important. But now moving on to my favorite part of the show.
Oh no.
Here comes the trivia. You guys ready?
Claro.
Bueno, si no saben, si no han visto, nuestro amigo Tony y su familia salieron en tu papá y tus
Sí.
hermanos, ¿no?
Ajá, sí.
Salieron en un commercial para Ford Hermosillo,
Ajá,
¿verdad?
sí.
Ok. Las preguntas que yo tengo son sobre la compañía de Ford.
Ah, ok.
Ok.
Bien comprometido aquí. Todo bien, todo bien.
And it's multiple choice to make it easier.
Ah,
Okay.
bueno.
In what year was the Ford Motor Company founded? A, 1903, B, 1912, C, 1899.
¿La primera cuál era?
1903.
¿Y la segunda?
1912.
Es en esa.
¿Cuál?
La B.
La segunda, ¿la B? No.
La
It's C.
1.
Es la A. No es
No,
la A.
it's A.
1903. Henry Ford founded the Ford Motor Company.
Mira, sí.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna take your Ford away.
And you said that you wrote a paper on this, and you
Failed.
said C.
I also said I was a sixth grader. Okay.
All right, I guess we'll give you a
Ayer.
pass.
Hace poquito.
Yeah, it's just 5 years ago. All right, so the second. What was the name of the first Ford truck model? Okay, el primer troque que sacó
Sí.
Ford. A, the Model T. B, the Model TT. Or C, the Model J.
La 1.
No,
La dos.
la 1, sí, la 2.
Es la 2.
La 1 fue el primer carro. No, the most famous car that they came out was the Model T
T.
Ford.
Oh, ok.
But the
sí.
Model TT, because they were lazy apparently,
Sagraron, no traté. Ahora el TT significa Twin Turbo.
sí, es cierto, ¿verdad? Es cierto. There you go. I wonder if maybe that's why they did it. All right, so now, art history.
Oh no.
Here we go. Here we go. So I love doing art history because nobody knows it. And it's so fun to stump people. Okay, so I did mention that one of the names was a little bit difficult to say of the options here. There are 3 options, of course, multiple choice. What is the name of the oldest art museum in the world? A, Kunstmuseum, Basel, Switzerland. B, the Louvre. Or C, the Met.
I mean, I would assume it's Switzerland, but I don't know a lot about Switzerland. So I'm gonna say B.
You're going to say B? You should have just gone
I
with
should have
Switzerland.
gone with A,
You
yeah.
should have gone with A. You should have gone with Switzerland. It's always the one that sounds like a bad word.
Okay, well we'll go with that one. I
All
won't
right.
say the name.
Yeah, don't say it. I'm not going to say it again either. Now, what year was that art museum founded? A, 1432, B, 1705, or C, 1661?
Pues es Europa.
Well, let's do 14.
1432?
Is that way too soon for art?
Well, it's never too soon for that. But apparently that's wrong.
It's the 16.
1661.
I trust myself.
Yeah, you just got to go with your instincts. You got to go with your instincts. Yes, that museum in Basel. I think that's how you say it. Basel.
I think it is because I'm pretty sure that's what Art Basel's named
right?
after.
Yeah. Basel, Switzerland was in 1661. Now, before that, from what I understand, artists lived in, like, they were part of guilds and they worked off of commissions, but they never had their collections on display anywhere. And I'd imagined maybe in Greece there would have been something like this, or Rome, but no. It was in Switzerland in 1661, the first place where artists could actually put a collection of their works on display and actually put them for sale, as opposed to working strictly off of singular commission.
And here we are in 2023 with Tony's exhibition at La
with
Línea.
Tony's
No olviden
exhibition.
ir.
So, you guys did terribly. Thank you so much.
Failed.
Despedido de Ford y maestro de arte.
¿Verdad?
Here, take my credentials.
Yeah, just take them both. Cancel his commercial. But thank you guys so much for coming. I'm telling you, I'm so unorganized today. But you know what? It made a really fun episode. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys so much for what you do, for the community, for the art community. And just, I mean, I cannot express how much I appreciate the work that you guys have done. When is the exhibit on till?
It's an ongoing question.
It's
It
an
is
ongoing question.
definitely through the month of June.
So through the month of June, for sure, possibly longer.
And we'll have a closing celebration.
Okay.
For whenever that it is.
Whenever
coming
that
down.
Whenever
we decide we're going to take
Yeah.
it down before that, we're going to invite everyone to celebrate one more time.
Okay.
Creo que
Awesome.
se me ha dicho el David que a mediados de julio. A mediados de julio porque en agosto es la otra. Así que.
Okay. Well, there you go. Then.
You're all invited.
You're all invited for whenever it is.
O
Whenever
si
it
quieren-
happens, let us know and we'll announce it, and we'll make sure that people know. Oh,
O
price
si
life
quieren
up.
ir a ver la exposición igual, pueden mandar mensaje a la línea, o si quieren a mí y ya les doy
Okay.
un recorrido.
Muy bien. So yeah, what hour do you guys have a hourly, like a schedule?
It kind of varies by exhibition.
Okay.
We're generally available in the afternoons and Saturday mornings, but
Okay.
really anytime by appointment. So
By
if
appointment,
you
okay.
want to come see the exhibition, we will be happy to open the doors for you whenever it's convenient for you.
Okay, awesome. Again, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching or listening if you're listening to this on Spotify. Again, please make sure that you follow the pages, follow our pages, like our pages. I don't know if you guys knew this, but we actually have a streaming channel now on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. So viewers, listeners, make sure that you go to your, to the search part of your Roku or your Amazon, look for We Love Nogales and download the app. You can watch all of our episodes on demand. And we have some really, really incredible community stuff. Incredible members of the community that we talk to that we want to share. So make sure that you watch that, inform yourself, and share that with the rest of the world. Because that's what we do. We're broadcasting our community to the world. Thank you guys again, and we will see you next week.
Gracias por la invitación.